isn't.
Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshing and goes down smooth. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
Eat Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
The biggest contest we've ever seen.
Seriously, what's the guarantee?
They're still talking about it.
I think it's time to put the rumors to rest.
Showtime!
$30 million.
$30 million?
$30 million? $30 million?
That's $30 million guaranteed. 3 contests, multiple ways to win, no rate. Entry starting at $1,000. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
Hey, Riley, how many touchdowns you kick last year?
You can't kick a touchdown, Hank.
Well, maybe you can't. I need a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale.
I mean, I caught a touchdown.
That's cool. Who kicked it to you?
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
How's your day going?
Going good, thank you, yes.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Hey, Riley, the most important position on a football team. Go.
Well, it's a team sport, Hank.
Wrong. No, it's kicker. Why do you think they call it football? Why do you think Lithia Ford is having a fall kickoff sale? Tell you what, they're not having a fall tight end sale.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, RoadPaint.com, and the Blue and Orange Store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
What's up, Bronco Nation? Happy Thursday, August 20th, 2026. Hope your day is off to a great start. My name is BJ Rains, and I'm in the Sun Cruiser Studios here in Meridian. Our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and this is another edition of Bronco Nation News Live, coming to us from the Lithia Ford Studios there in downtown Boise, KTIK Radio. Our man, Johnny Ballgame, host of Prater in the Ballgame, weekdays 3 to 6. Our co-host today. Johnny, we got you for about 30 minutes, and then we got the athletic director, Jeramiah Dickey, coming on at about 9:30. A lot hot topics going on. A good day to catch up with the AD as well. So happy Thursday. How we doing, man?
I love it. And Jeremiah, I imagine he'll be as transparent as he always is, and that's going to be an interview with everything floating around, and I think most people know what it is, what we're talking about there. It's good timing for you to be able to get him on. We had him on last week. We got a lot out of that interview as well on Idaho Sports Talk. So it's an interesting time of year. You'd think you're just all focused on the football season because what are we, 16 days away from Autzen? But there are some other things, other orders of business, if you will, that certainly people have questions in regards to Jeremiah with.
Got folks chiming in from all over the country as usual. We appreciate you guys. Jeff in Omaha this morning. We got Michael Whitmore down in Las Vegas. I always appreciate you guys letting us know where you're watching from. We'll get those shout-outs in throughout the show. Melinda watching from Boise as well. And we got the Quintana show flying from Sacramento to Orange County. We have two people in the air right now watching us, Johnny. The Quintana show is headed to Orange County, and then Chad Bocut is at 35,000 feet on the air on the way to JD's stomping grounds of Frisco and Dallas. So safe travels to you guys. And thanks for watching us. Spark Cop is in Emmett watching this morning. So thank you guys. Appreciate all of you for checking in as usual. Hope you're enjoying Idaho Sports Talk weekdays from 3 to 6 and all of our coverage at BNN as well. As we, as you said, Johnny, continue to inch closer to fall camp. But there is a ton of stuff to discuss with Jeramiah Dickey that I want to get your take on as well, Johnny. In addition to fall camp, we obviously have the new helmets that look awesome. We have the new deal with Progressive for the midfield logo that came out a couple days ago. We've got the budget deficit, $18 million that we heard about, rev share. But Johnny, I'm gonna start with. Can I start with basketball when we're 16 days from the start of the season? But if you want to go actual,
it better be big, yeah. I mean, if that's your A block big news of the day on BNN Live, serve it up, BJ.
I mean, in terms of actual news and what's happened since yesterday's show, there was no open practice. There was no media availability for football yesterday. They're not practicing until 4 o'clock today, so nothing immediately happening football-wise. The biggest quote-unquote news, which I think could tie back to football, is the 5-5 rule. Lamar Washington committing to Boise State, a Georgia Tech transfer. I did a little homework on this, Johnny. Apparently, he is one of the 30 plaintiffs named in the Georgia case, which gives him basically a second lifeline. If the Colorado case that made everybody eligible were to not go through, which some are skeptical, the Georgia case that he is also named in gives him a second lifeline, a second opportunity. I mean, Boise State would have to feel pretty good about this, Johnny, if they're willing to take this chance, this risk. School starts on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is he's going to try here by Monday, enrolled in class. He's a Portland native. I believe Johnny was actually recruited by Eric Chenander and Stacy Collins to play football a couple of years ago, but went the basketball route. Went to Texas Tech for 2 years, went to Pacific for a year, had a really nice year, put 40 on Jay Tuss, Washington State Cougars, and hit a game winner. Then went to Georgia Tech and had over 5 assists a game and averaged almost 10 points a game. So Boise State basketball getting a late addition, Johnny, and still some hurdles to figure out. You know, as of now, we should say he is eligible. Again, I don't think Boise State takes this chance if they don't feel good about this and did their homework, but possible starter, Johnny. Started 21 games at Georgia Tech last year, and here on August 19th, you're getting a possible starter for your basketball team. This new 5-5 rule, Boise State basketball, taking a chance, going to get one of these guys, and we'll see what happens here.
This is a Berto kid. Berto knows him extremely well. He grew up playing ball. This kid with Drew Fielder in the AAU regional circuit. This is another Berto gem. And it's kind of the world we're living in. If they're going to do it, then why won't we? If they're doing it, I know it's greasy. I know it's slimy. It's kind of cheesy. But you know what? If they're doing it, then we're going to do it too. Welcome to college football. I wake up today and there's 16 current NFL players that are trying to go back and play college football tomorrow under the 5-5 rule, saying, hey, well, we didn't know. If we would have known the 5-5 rule was coming, we wouldn't have went to the NFL. We want to go back to college because, one, they're going to make more money in college, 100%, and two, they're guaranteed to have a spot. These are fringe NFL players. And so I wake up to that, and I just think, when is it going to be enough? When is it going to be over with this? And maybe the 5-for-5, this will be the end of it, and we won't have any of these. I read an article today that Diego Pavia is trying to get back and play college football. Teams are,
come on.
Yeah, teams are getting ready to play. It's crazy that we're still doing this, but if they're doing it, then everybody else should do it. The kid's really good. He's averaged over 5 assists a game the last 2 years. Played in the ACC last year. He's probably one of the 3-4 best players on the team now, if it works. So huge get for basketball. It's just the way that it's working right now. I don't know. It's just sometimes it gets frustrating. But do it. Everybody else is. And there's a bunch of these other guys that are going to want to come back to this new huge pool of really, really good players. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Boise State got a good one.
Yeah, and at this point, Johnny, these guys are out there. A couple of things to note. First of all, my understanding is he did enter the transfer portal back in April to kind of leave this door open, which I think if you did that back then, that's what allows you to transfer to other schools or makes it easier. With this 5-5 rule, you had to have entered the transfer portal back in April, depending on the lawsuit and things like that. But that makes it a little easier that he was originally in the transfer portal. That's my understanding. Also, Johnny, these guys that are out there, they're not, everyone's saying, how do they have money for this? How do they have money for this? They're not doing this for the money at this point. These guys just want another chance to play college basketball, another chance to prove themselves and try to earn a pro contract next year. Yep. If you're still sitting out there in late August, you're not doing this because you want the huge payday. You're doing this because they just got lucky that you got lucky. So you're getting guys for 10 cents on the dollar, basically. I mean, this guy back in April, if he had a full year, probably gets $1 million+ to go somewhere. And maybe you're getting him for a 10th of that, an 1/8 of that. I have no idea. Everyone keeps asking about the insurance. I have not been able to figure that out. I think Boise State believes Ty Rodgers is going to play this year, though. I don't think this is a season-ending injury or they see it that way. I think there's a real scenario where Ty Rodgers and Lamar Washington are out there in January or February playing together on the court. So the guy's not a three-point shooter. We get it, Tater Tom. Yeah, 28%. That's not his game. I mean, okay, let's look at it's just not his game. He's not a three-point shooter. He's a slasher. He's a driver. He's a very good defender, Johnny, as well. And so he's a guy that fits in with Damari Wheeler-Thomas very well in terms of handling the ball into the rim, creating shots for others. His one strength is he's not a strong outside shooter. That doesn't immediately say, oh, why'd they take him? Do you take a center because he was 28% from behind the arc? I mean, no, you have other areas in your game that he's good. His team out.
Trust me, he's good. He's good. It's a big get. A nice athletic point guard type that's going to be a big addition to this team. Now, with that said, Johnny, there's a couple other issues here. The roster being at 15, people have brought that up. You're only allowed a maximum of 15 players. This would be player 16. So still trying to figure that out, Johnny. But my understanding is the lawsuit in Georgia mentions that you cannot be counted as a roster spot or cannot take an opportunity away from somebody else. So basically you could get an extra 16th spot according to this Georgia lawsuit, potentially. Maybe make a walk-on, have to move into a different role. There's different ways around this. But yes, right now he would be the 16th player, which by the NCAA rules, you can't have more than 15. But I think there are some ways around that. There's ways around everything, right?
That's not a big concern at this point, I don't think.
Yeah, there's a dude in an NFL camp today that's calling his agent on lunch saying, can I get back to college? Did you get the word yet? I just got to tell him so I can leave. That's what we're dealing with right now. So I'm not worried about any of the other particulars too. This guy's going to play. And this is a big year for Boise State hoops. They need to find a way to be good this year. They can't slip up in this new league, especially when you would think Gonzaga, San Diego State, and Utah State are all going to be ready, willing, and able to go. And you got to jump up and play with those guys.
What do you think this says, though? I mean, you mentioned everyone else is doing, and I think there are 3 or 4 other Pac-12 schools. Gonzaga has a couple guys in this case that are waiting for that 5-5 ruling. But you're going to put in, get him here and get him in a housing situation, get him practicing with the guys and get him in class. And you don't fully know yet whether or not he's actually going to be able to play here for a while. What do you think about this gamble that Leon Rice is taking? I mean, does he, as you said, does he realize this is a big year, obviously, and they need to do something, or is this a changing of the guard in terms of how they're going to approach things with the compliance office and things like that? Or what do you make of, I would call this a gamble. I would call this a little bit of a risk that you're going to inject him into your practices, inject him into your program in August 20th, not knowing for sure he's going to play. What do you make of this move by Leon and what this says?
I'm thinking, what's the worst case scenario? The kid has to leave, and you saying it's like, it's a buzzkill for a few days when you're sad and you remember, oh man, I wish we still would have had that guy. We would have been so much better. I mean, that might be, is that the worst case scenario? I don't know. I mean, does it interrupt the chemistry? Maybe that's what you're thinking too. And then all of a sudden you take him out and it just ruffles feathers bringing him in. But I think what Leon and his staff are thinking probably is, how do we get better today? This guy, we can get him. Okay, was he going to make us better? Absolutely. He's probably, like you said, he's probably going to start. I would imagine he is. He started every game in the ACC last year. He was an all-league player the year before in the other league he was in. He's going to start. It's a big move, and this is what they need to do. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I take this gamble too in this new league. I mean, I don't want it to be like all these other teams end up feeling like Jeff Linder told me something once. Our boy, he said, like, in regards to a Big Sky job versus a WCC job at the time, he said, like, he had some interest from WCC jobs, but this is when there was Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and BYU. And I remember Linder told me, he's like, every other team in that league every year plays for 4th place, and it's really hard. He's like, at least in the Big Sky, it's not as good a league, but any coach can win that league on any year. I don't want this Pac-12 to be that old WCC that Linder was talking about, where there's those 3 teams that I said, and everybody else is trying to fight and scramble to play for 4th place and hope that year that the committee's like, yeah, the Pac-12 expanded tournament, it's a 4-bid league. That type of situation. So hopefully this Boise State basketball team can be right in that mix. And that's what they're doing. And they're working their ass off trying to do it.
You'd think about, Johnny, if they do somehow get, Ty Rodgers was supposed to be their best player. And if they somehow do get him back in January or later in the season, and then this guy gets eligible, and all of a sudden you have both these guys out there and Damari Wheeler. It changes the look of this team in a huge way, potentially come conference play.
Are basketball fans happy in this town? You know them well. Trying to think, I know season ticket holders, some of them are disgruntled. We have a buddy that we talk to a lot. He was a little irritated. He thought he was going to be able to move up. He couldn't. The team and the landscape. I wonder where this fan base is with this team right now. Where would you assess it?
I think, you mentioned the whole reseeding and all that, and then I think there was a lot of momentum, and then Cody Gogler left, and so that was in terms of donor relations and things like that. But
that's not Leon's fault, by the way. It's not anything he's doing. I like what he's done on this offseason.
No, I think there's a lot of
put up as good a team as they could. I think
there's a lot of put up or shut up this year. I think that the casual fan realizes that over time they've had a pretty incredible run here, a historic run here. But yeah, I think winning a game in the tournament and pushing ahead to that next step, I think more and more people every year are ready for that and want to see that. And I'm not saying Leon's on the hot seat or anything, but I do think there's a little, momentum or push from the crowd and the fans to start to say, okay, like we do at some point. It has been a historic run, but we do need to see something here at some point. And I do think this is a big year for that. And I do think that's probably part of what played into this in terms of adding
Yeah.
another player. And
Yep.
with that said, Johnny, somebody says here, so are they, Sky says, are they just giving up on NATO? I think that's a mistake.
No, he'll be fine. And if he's good, he'll play over the guys that we're talking about. There's no favorites here. If NATO wins the minutes, if you know this about Leon, he will give you minutes if you earn them in practice.
Yeah.
This is good.
But
Again,
I wonder
you
about
guys-
Julian Bowie and some of these guys that will probably have their playing time cut a little bit.
Yep, they're going to have to figure it out and bust their tail and hopefully find a way to keep those minutes. It's not going to be it's tough, man. But, I mean, the coaches need to get the best players they can and the best pool of players to choose from. And I think it makes what does Spencer say every day? Iron sharpens iron. I mean, get the best total team you can. Now, does this mean guys are going to leave? Probably not now, but at the end of the year, yes. But you kind of got a plan that they're going to leave anyway, I think. So it's an interesting landscape. I like what the roster is, but I do agree that this is not the year to kind of ease into the new league. Like, don't let Utah State fans come here and take a picture afterwards. Don't let the Zags come here and win by 30. This needs to be a good year in the Pac-12 and a tone setter and say Boise State basketball can compete at a high level in this league. The Tyson Degenhart era is kind of gone now, and it's like you just don't want it to slip further and further away because that was the era. That's what you want to be your standard, BJ. And sometimes you don't want to lose that. And all of a sudden you just keep looking back. Oh, the Tyson era. It's not that far removed. I think you can still grab some of that back with this team this season in this new league.
All right, we'll see when Boise State announces this, or again, this is just reported by the Field of 68. I have confirmed that it is happening, Johnny. My understanding is, though, it's not 100% done. May have jumped the gun a little bit in terms of saying it's official, but it's 95% done, I guess, so to speak. But they're still, maybe need to figure out some things. And before, Boise State has not announced it, so it's obviously not 100% done yet. So we'll see when that news comes. But Lamar Washington, a late addition to the basketball team, which could be a big one here moving forward. But fall camp going on, a lot to discuss football-wise. We got about 10 minutes left with Johnny before Jeramiah Dickey joins us here at the bottom of the hour. So we'll get to that in just a second. But do want to thank a couple of the great sponsors that make this show free of charge for you guys to watch here on YouTube, and that includes our newest sponsor, Piston, the smarter way to fuel your fleet. If you're a business owner and you pay for the fuel, whether it's with company vehicles or whatever it may be, an easier, seamless way to now track the payments and how many gallons of gas they're getting. 100% cardless, advanced security, better savings. You get $1 off a gallon your first week, 10 cents off per gallon after that. 650-739-8327, piston.com. They do accept this at Jackson. So again, you want to save some money and you want to have an easier way to track the transactions and track the fuel usage and payments for your fleet. Check out Piston online at piston.com. We had a chance yesterday to see those trading cards, Johnny. The new 2026 signature trading cards will be available starting on Monday at Jackson's. Make sure you get them. You got a chance for a 1 in 10 autograph card, but the new trading cards are back for Boise State. They'll be at Jackson's and Extra Mile by Jackson's starting on Monday. Give us a Taco Bell item of the day, Johnny.
I had this last night. I'll give you my exact order last night. 3 Cantina chicken crispy tacos, 2 hard taco supremes, and a bean burrito.
You had that yourself?
Last night. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice size meal there, Johnny.
I actually didn't finish it all. I will say that.
All right.
But
hey, Taco Bell
over order.
TacoBellWorks.com. The SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. You heard it there from Johnny. Tremendous options, breakfast, lunch, dinner, midnight, whenever you're hungry. Taco Bell. Support the Treasure Valley Taco Bell locations. Check them out at TacoBellWorks.com. Hey, Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate. Number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Check them out, BauscherRealEstate.com, 252-9877. Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. We appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News. Sun Cruiser, our studio sponsor, got some cool away game watch parties coming up at Uncle Bob's Pizza. We'll have some Sun Cruiser discounts and giveaways. Make plans for that Oregon game to join us at Uncle Bob's Pizza. And, of course, our title sponsor is Lithia Ford of Boise. Online, LithiaFordBoise.com. Johnny, we saw Jim Sturk out at practice the other day. Always enjoy seeing him, catching up with him, whether it's Roger Carrion on the screen there. I need to get that rope hat, by the way. That's a nice looking hat that he
Roger's looking good, by the way. He's fit. Look at him.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Lithia Ford of Boise, Jeramiah Dickey, Spencer Danielson, all their vehicles. They can help you out as well at LithiaFordBoise.com. All right, Johnny, we're scrimmage 2 on Saturday. We'll talk to Spencer Danielson afterwards. Tell us your thoughts here. Thursday, August 20th, 16 days, as you said, from the season opener against Oregon. We got open practice this afternoon. You guys will be on the air during that, but we will talk to Eric Chenander and Nate Potter after practice today. What questions you got for the coordinators? We're talking to them after practice today. Where are you 16 days from the season opener?
First thing is just, maybe how Nate Potter is, flourishing or at least adjusting in his new role where he's not coaching tight ends during practice anymore. And, he is invested. Nate Potter is right there with the quarterbacks, right there on all the team offensive things that he was there before too, but it's just different, I think, when you're working with the tight ends. And now I'd like to figure out, or ask him, what the differences are there overall. I think this is a good team, I think they're together. I think they're working hard. I think they're pushing each other. I think they get along. I don't know if, I think they're going to be an upper echelon Pac-12 team this season. I've been encouraged. Certainly the new playmakers. Think of all the players, certainly outside of the backfield that are going to get to touch the ball this year that the Bronco Nation hasn't seen a lot of before. It feels like Akeem Wright's going to catch he might catch 60-plus balls. He looks like he's their best receiver. Rashawn Jones, as the season progresses, I expect him to be even way better at the end of the year than he is now, and I expect him to have a good season too. Matt Wagner, we mentioned, was the second tight end this year. Now, looks like he's going to be a focal point in the passing attack on this team. How are they going to use their backs? We've heard so many times, we're going to use them at the same time. Both running backs, same backfield. We heard it with Helani and Genty. We heard it with Sire last year and Dillon. We heard it with Sire and Genty 2 years ago. And I don't know much if we're hearing it this year, but are they going to try that again? Defensively, a lot of new pieces too, BJ. But I kind of like how they're coming together. The one thing that maybe worries me, I've said this a couple times, they look smaller than previous teams, but if they're faster, quicker, I don't think that would matter. Overall assessment, I think camp's going pretty well. I think they're good.
By the way, they did post a photo on the Bronco football page, Johnny, a couple of days ago from practice, a couple just random photos of practice. And I don't know if they did it on purpose, on accident, whatever.
Where are you going with this?
There was a photo with Dylan Riley and Sire Gaines in the backfield together.
I saw that. Yeah. I thought, I didn't know I was supposed to, I didn't know I could say it. But now that you said it, yeah, I saw it too. Yeah, I did. But we've seen that in every year's practice. And then we talk about it in the week. Like, hey, did you see any snaps of that package with both backs? And you're like, no. I was like, I didn't either. Okay. But you're right. They've run some stuff with Dylan and Sire in the backfield together. I saw a play where they were like I'm not going to get deep into the formations. I probably shouldn't. But, yeah, I've seen it too, BJ. But we've seen that year in, year out here. And we really haven't seen it, we really haven't seen them try to attack anybody with it in a game. Maybe that changes if those are your two best players and you want them on the field as much together, even together, then we'll see what Nate Potter does, BJ.
Yeah, no, I think they've avoided the big injury at this point, Johnny. Overall, I think they're in a pretty good spot.
Knock on wood for them there. There are very few yellow jerseys out there, which is very rare, especially with the contact they're having. It's like Spencer Danielson chose to dance with the devil, and Jesus had another victory for Spencer because he took the risk. It's saying we need to toughen up. We need to learn to tackle better, even if it means some valuable pieces go down. We have to. And so far, they're doing that. And the valuable pieces, knock on wood, Bronco Nation, are not going down yet. Spencer made the decision, and so far, so good for him. 16 days.
Yeah, 16 days. It's hard to believe.
16 days.
Idaho Sports Talk. We're going to get Jeramiah Dickey, the Boise State Athletic Director, on here momentarily. What do we got coming up on a Thursday edition of Idaho Sports Talk?
You got Ashton Genty playing tonight. We'll see if he plays at all. He played, 3 carries he took in preseason week 1 for the Raiders. They play the Texans, who just last week signed Brett Rippon, and the career that never dies continues. And I don't know why Brett Rippon wouldn't be taking snaps tonight. He's a veteran. He knows this offense. That's why they brought him in. So we'll talk a little bit about that on a Thursday night. Nothing to do. Maybe a lot of Brett Rippon and a little bit of Genty, BJ. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Johnny. We'll see you Saturday for the scrimmage. We'll talk to Spencer Danielson afterwards. We'll be listening 3 to 6. We're going to get the athletic director on here, Johnny. Appreciate you for joining us, and we'll see you soon, bud.
Love ya.
Johnny Ballgame. Appreciate him for his time on Bronco Nation News as usual. I want to thank a few sponsors real quick, and then we'll get to our special guest, Jeramiah Dickey, and that includes rowpaint.com, Andy Rowe and Company. All your painting needs, whether it's interior, exterior painting, those concrete coatings, hit up our friends at rowpaint.com. Mark Ridley, Ridley's Family Market's been a supporter, friend of mine from day one. ShopRidleys.com. And check out the Ridley's Family Markets locations, 13 of them in the state of Idaho, surrounding areas as well. ShopRidleys.com. Element Fencing, if you need a new fence, elementfencing.com, 631-2790, elementfencing.com. Check them out. Cedar, wrought iron, vinyl, decks, pergolas, they can do it all. They'll have our defensive player of the game come football season here. Element Fencing online, elementfencing.com. Signature Roofing online at mysignatureroofing.com, covering our community one roof at a time, whether it's a re-roof, a repair to your roof, an estimate, an inspection. They got you covered at Signature Roofing. Again, online at mysignatureroofing.com. And want to thank Idaho Central Credit Union as well, iccu.com. Idaho Central Credit Union. They got Maddox Madsen now. We got some new graphics we'll be putting up soon with him. Their logo is back in the stadium. They're back in with Learfield and Boise State. Good to see ICCU back in the fold. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. You can check them out, Idaho Central Credit Union. And last but certainly not least, the Blue and Orange Store. Appreciate Travis Hawks and Company. The Blue and Orange Store, one of our biggest supporters here from day one when I was thinking of starting Bronco Nation News. Travis Hawks is one of the first people I talked to and helped push me over the edge. So we appreciate Travis Hawks and everybody over there at the Blue and Orange Store, Pro Image, all that. So the new shoes, you can get those. You can get the jacket, all your officially licensed coaches, sideline apparel, the jerseys, the customized jerseys, all that good stuff. You can get it from the Blue and Orange Store. Again, online at theblueandorangestore.com. They got the mall location. They got the location there at the Allen Noble Hall of Fame. And, of course, you can order online anywhere in the world at the Blue and Orange Store. All right, a ton to discuss in Boise State athletics. I know this man is very busy these days, but nice enough to give us his usual time once a month here on Bronco Nation News is the athletic director at Boise State, Jeramiah Dickey. Jeremiah, appreciate you as always for joining us and connecting directly with the fans here on BNN. How are we doing on August 20th here?
I'm awesome, BJ, and good morning to you and Bronco Nation. And I always love hearing as I'm sitting here waiting to jump on with you, all your sponsors and so many, if not all of them, are supportive of us, and really grateful for all those that you mentioned. They're outstanding businesses, but also great people, like you said.
And I appreciate that because this is a free show on YouTube that we do, and we have to monetize this somehow for fans to be able to see live pregame shows from Autzen Stadium in a couple weeks and things like that. And we just giving us a little like and subscription here on YouTube doesn't necessarily do it, but some of these sponsors, and it works out nicely. Ones that support you guys throw a little extra our way at the end and help us out as well. And hopefully we can keep this thing rolling. I appreciate you saying that, and definitely means a ton to me and all the folks here that we can do this. Now, with that said, we have limited time here. I know we have a ton of things to get to. Yep. I don't know which way you want to go first. I know you were on with Jay yesterday on Bronco Studios. People keep commenting on the helmet, though, so we'll just get a brief comment there first. That got more, I know maybe it wasn't the goal, but more kind of national attention and traction yesterday. And you guys talk about your brand and impressions and national reach and views and things like that. This helmet certainly was a hit not only locally but nationally as well. You guys will be sporting this for the home opener against Memphis. This is pretty darn cool.
It's great, BJ, and I want to give a shout out to obviously the artist, but Matt Sterling on our equipment staff and working with Dell and the football program, and then obviously Coots and so many more. I've really tried to empower these guys to get creative and innovative and try to monetize their spaces. And this is across to the department. And when you can do something like this, that, it wasn't the end goal in terms of the national story yesterday, but that was part of the goal. We want to tell our story. We want to stay top of mind. And I saw a lot of positive feedback from Bronco Nation and many others nationally in terms of the work that's being done. I really liked last year's helmet, especially with, and it ties in, which I know we'll get into, the work we did at the State House and being the front porch of Idaho. But, it's always what's next. And Bronco Nation really embraced last year's. And it seems like this year is almost universally celebrated, and it gives us an opportunity to tie in Bronco Nation, give them a chance, in terms of the auctions and other things we're going to do. And then the Blue and Orange store, which you mentioned, I know they're supportive of you and Travis. They're awesome. We just announced this morning on our social, the items that, that the Blue and Orange store will have. So it takes a team, BJ, and this gives us an opportunity for our student athletes to represent something bigger than themselves in terms of that blue and the brand, and to celebrate that 40th anniversary. It means a lot to me, and that's our goal. We need to strengthen the foundation, continue to elevate it, and it's always what's next.
Yeah, no doubt about it. There is the new 40th anniversary merchandise that is available that folks can go get to the Blue and Orange store and other spots around town as well. But we've been doing a 40 and 40 thing with Collect BSU as well, where we've been kind of having folks give memories of the blue, and then we're going to give away one of those Gene Blameyer signed shadow boxes. So I know Collect BSU has some cool things with the turf and the goalpost from a couple years ago. And yeah, if you're a fan with a little extra cash to spend, there's a lot of options out there right now. Speaking of cash to spend, you guys got a little more thanks to Progressive and the deal that you guys got done. I thought the more notable thing, Jeremiah, was the other schools you were included with on this list, and what this, in aligning with some of these schools could do moving forward. And I know Learfield, helped put this together, but what do you make of the deal with Progressive? And I know some fans, many on this chat yesterday, were complaining they don't love that it's right there at the 50-yard line. You didn't really have a lot of options with the Albertson Stadium logo already on there as well. But getting a on-field sponsor, Progressive, another revenue stream, another new thing that's been happening here in college athletics. You guys diving in on this. What do you make, and what's the fine? I know you're not going to get like specific numbers, but how big of a deal is this deal with Progressive?
This is a great deal for us, BJ, and a shout out to our BSP team. They are very much a part of this, and it's why we, went forward with our extension with Learfield. Every dollar counts, and they are doing real work around the country, and this is an example of that. It truly takes a team, and now that the industry is changing, beggars can't be choosers. Like at the end of the day, we need to monetize as much as we possibly can. It ties into everything we've done over the last 5.5 years. You've mentioned Collect You. You've mentioned, obviously, Blue and Orange store and these helmets. And we are getting creative and innovative in how we're approaching this. And, at the end of the day, BJ, we don't need what everyone else has. We just need more than we got, because we know what we represent. And that's something bigger than ourselves. And so a shout out to Progressive, a shout out to BSP and our team. And we always want to be respectful. Like the blue is sacred, ground. And so we want to partner with the right companies, and you mentioned it, the schools that we were included with, our BSP property is treated like a Power 4. And I know I say a lot of Power 5, I know who we are. I know the consistency that we've competed on a national level, and the success that we've had over 3 decades. And we're not going to shy away from that. It's not an indictment on anyone else, and it's not crying over spilled milk because we're not included, in terms of these conferences. We know who we are, and we know what we represent. And it makes me really proud because, we were the only group of 6, at this point that I saw included. And, it just is a testament. It's a testament to Bronco Nation. It's a testament to what Gene did so many years ago. And, and it's why we continue to fight for everything that we possibly can, because it is important, and the impact that it has on our student athletes and our staff and our supporters. That's a big part of my job, BJ, and I'm really grateful for the teammates I have in the foxhole.
Boise State Athletic Director Jeramiah Dickey, our guest, as he is monthly here on BNN, taking your questions directly from the chat and getting you up to speed on the latest in Boise State athletics here. Now, you guys have not announced this, so I'm not sure what you're willing to comment on. Maybe you have to speak generally. I don't know, but we saw football schedules come out and say that you guys have added Western Illinois to the 2027 football schedule. I know some fans were disappointed that there's no Power 5. I mean, you already have to play at Marshall, at Appalachian State. You've got USF, I believe, at home. I mean, those three for a non P4 or whatever schedule is a pretty good three. I know you'd hinted it was probably going to be an FCS school, but what can you say about that and fans that are maybe a little disappointed that it's an FCS school and not a Power 4 opponent next season?
Yeah, I understand they're disappointed, BJ, but we're going to control what we can control. And I'm really, when I look at our schedule next year, and you mentioned it, there's one seat in the CFP, and winning does matter, and winning is hard. And so there are no guarantees. Obviously, we have a scheduling formula, and I want one P4 every year, but I can't control what others are doing. I can't make anyone do it, and I'm not paying anyone to come here due to our situation, right? So, you take what you can get, and so much has happened, especially coming out of COVID, and you're seeing it nationally. The games that are being dropped, by Power 4 programs, and it's getting harder to get home and homes. And what I would tell our fans and Bronco Nation in general, it's not from a lack of effort. It is what it is. Some conferences are going to more conference games. There are a lot of moving pieces to the scheduling piece. And so what everyone wants versus what the reality of the situation is are probably two different things. And that's okay. I'm okay with people being disappointed. I'm disappointed. Would I have wanted a Power 4 opponent? Absolutely. And BJ, the way this thing works, who knows what can happen? Scheduling has changed. It used to be 5-10 years out. I could get a call today, or I could have gotten a call last week in terms of potential opportunities for that 27 season. So we're going to continue to work the phones, do everything I possibly can. And, and I'm really grateful for the schedule we do have. I think it does set us up. And I'm also thinking, BJ, about, the Pac-12 and right, whether people agree with it or not, I really don't care, man. I'm going to do what I feel is best for this department and for our football program, and our brand. And, but I also know that we have Oregon State and Washington State, and we have an elevated competitive, conference schedule. And that tied into us going into the Pac-12. And so theoretically next year, you look at the non-conference that you mentioned, plus Oregon State and Washington State, that isn't that far removed from being a part of the Power 5. And, at the end of the day, we've aligned with some good brands, some strong brands, maybe even national brands, when you look at App State and South Florida and Marshall, and, but I also know that the way this day works, I'm going to control what hits my desk today, and we're going to continue to strategize and look ahead, and who knows what opportunities potentially may come in the future. But I also look at 28 through 31, I think, that we have home and homes with Cincinnati and Houston, and that's as of today. I mean, who knows what can happen? This is the life of what an AD and a department is doing on a daily basis. Every day I wake up and it's all right, I know who's on first, and the next day it changes. And we're going to keep fighting and doing everything we possibly can to create something special for Bronco Nation and our student athletes.
And I know you mentioned you kind of made some headlines, I don't know, several months ago, kind of throwing out the possibility of an international game was maybe something that you were looking into. Yeah. And I know a lot of the fans that really enjoyed those Chick-fil-A kickoffs and things that Boise State was a part of, kind of the neutral site games. Is that, when you're talking about these opportunities and what could come about, I know some fans have brought that up. Is the neutral site game maybe an easier way to get a better opponent? Is obviously Vegas is an easy one that everybody loves to go to, but there's other cities as well. Is the international thing still you're looking for? How you mentioned, you have at Cincinnati in 28, and then you're at Washington in 29 with Cincinnati at home, but there are some opportunities potentially in the next couple of years. Is that something in your international and or neutral site that you're looking at also?
I appreciate you mentioning 29, BJ. In terms of our scheduling philosophy, we have two Power 4s. Look, there's we plan the work the plan, and And ultimately, we're going to continue to control what we can. So in terms of international and neutral site games, yeah, like I'm always going to run out every ground ball. My job is to empower a team to go in terms of, A through D maybe. And then I get to worry about everything else. And so I'm always looking ahead. It's always what's next. I'm always going to try to put our best foot forward and create opportunities. It doesn't mean, like we've had some people interested in from an international standpoint, but it has to work for us. And who are we playing before and after, and the travel and, student athlete schedules and academics. And there are a lot of moving pieces to that. So I'm not going to put us intentionally at a disadvantage. A lot of the scheduling, happens, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, depending. And, now it could be a year, like this Western Illinois. And that's fine. Like I said, we were going to go get an FCS. We went and got an FCS. People can be disappointed, but it is what it is. That's part of it. And, anything can happen. Anything can change in terms of what's ahead, on our schedule. We're going to continue to approach it with the same mindset that we want to put ourselves in the best possible position to compete for championships and have a seat at that table for the CFP at the end of the season. And that is still the goal. And Spencer and I are locked in on that.
Another big topic going around is the 5-5 rule right now. When fall camp started, we heard that Jeremiah beat Braxton Feely. They were at least talking to Boise State. Maybe there was a chance they could come back. And then I know you can't get specific because it hasn't been announced, but reportedly you guys have landed a basketball edition that would fill into the 5-for-5 rule, and it's part of one of these lawsuits down in Georgia. As the head of the athletic department, what are you telling these coaches? What is your guys' stance on taking what I would call a gamble right now on a 5-on-5 that you don't know for sure if it's going to go through? Maybe you do, but whether it's basketball, football, what's your take on these lawsuits? And it looks like you guys are willing to kind of dive into that pool here.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking that, BJ. And I'm not going to get into specifics in terms of basketball, in due time. But, I've struggled with it, BJ. Like, I'm supportive of the 5-for-5, and I've been a proponent and very vocal, publicly, social media, et cetera, and through media opportunities. I've been vocal. Like, we need hard lines in the sand that we can hold each other accountable to. And so in some ways, I appreciate the NCAA, fighting. I'm not sure this was the battle to pick, and that's for the attorneys and others to speak into. I know there's a lot of comments out there publicly that, this was dead before it started, and why didn't they just include, that 22 class? And I'm going to control what we can. And ultimately there are opportunities out there. Every school is facing them, but we also know that there's potential risk, and you're always balancing what's right, what's wrong. I always want to do what's right. I know what we represent here, and I know who we are. I also don't want to put us at a competitive disadvantage. And I also know that we are very strategic in how we spend our money and what that looks like. And, I want to keep, every day, BJ, I'm working the phones. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, where they're at with some of these injunctions, and, like the NCAA won one, but they haven't in others. And what does that mean for us? Like, and the NCAA is doing a good job of trying to email us, and you're seeing that, get out there in terms of the national media, of like where their head's at. But this is the chaos, BJ. I saw yesterday, and you didn't ask this, but that we had got guys that were in NFL camps, like coming back to college. Like, I'm so over people nationally, and you have to recognize who they are and what they represent. I'm so over, attorneys and others and agents and, even national media to a certain extent, and not all of them. Like, some of them are telling the story. A lot of them have opinions. I'm tired of hearing that it isn't chaos. I'm tired of hearing that, we're crying over spilled milk and it is what it is, and ADs get paid, whatever. I know what I get paid, BJ. And I know, like, I get that. And I know what coaches get paid, and I understand that too. But people like watching car accidents, and I'm tired of defending it. At the end of the day, we have created this problem as an industry, and I'm left, like many other ADs and presidents, we're left holding the bag and trying to fix it. And we're throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks, whether it's federal, whether it's from an NCAA standpoint, whether the court system is going to determine how we operate. But when you start having professional athletes coming back to school that have their degrees, like, that wasn't the intent, and that's not the purpose of what we represent. Our why is to prepare our kids for life. And the idea of taking away opportunities from these high school kids and others, And I'm not saying I'm fine paying kids, BJ. Like, I knew that was coming when I first started in this industry because people talked about it. This is our fault. Yes, I understand we got to fix it, but there's no unity. Every conference, every AD, every president, they're all going to do what's best for them. And that's why the federal government has become a potential solution. But I also understand that is a heavy lift. And I don't think it's going to get done in September. It's not because I don't necessarily want something done. I just think it's politics. But that's not their fault. We've screwed this up so bad, and we continue to find ways to keep digging. And that fires me up because, God willing, BJ, I have another 20 years of this. We can't keep doing this. This isn't sustainable. And I'm not sure anyone's having fun. Not that your job has to be fun, but some of it has to be enjoyable, and that's the fight. And that's why I'm so vocal. And that's why other ADs and presidents and commissioners, they're being vocal, and politicians now. And, ultimately we will find a solution. I have faith in the process. We're going to control what we can control, and it's always what's next.
Now, I know you can't get specific, so I'll keep the question general. But we did find out that the settlement is done with the Pac-12 and the Mountain West and all those schools, and you can kind of move on. Reportedly, it's like $9.8 million or something. Now, my understanding, JD, is based on some of the other numbers out there is that, again, not to get specific, but the Mountain West did what they typically do in these situations, is withhold payments while all this is going through. But it would seem like they're going to have to turn around and cut you guys a check for part of this. I don't know if that's going to end up being the case or what. And I know when the budget number came out, the 18 million, a lot of people tried to say that was a big reason for the deficit. But I heard you tell Jay that's not really related to this. That's more rev share related. But what them withholding money and then having to turn around, how much did that impact you guys? And I guess you were planning for it, and then are they, again, not to get specific, turning around and having to pay you guys some back?
So, BJ, I'm not going to get specific on a lot of it, out of respect. I
gotta try. Come on.
Yeah, no, I get it. I don't blame you for asking. I'm not going to get specific, and that's out of respect. I've said this before. It's not personal to me. We made a business decision. We wanted to align with like-minded schools with a national brand, and understanding we were going to build a new conference, and we wanted to create potential opportunities and new assets. And whether it's Pac-12 Ventures, Pac-12 Enterprises, so on and so forth. My job is every dollar counts. So my job is to consistently elevate us, and some of those things are going to work, some won't. And at the end of the day, I'm really grateful. We were able to start July 1st. We knew the settlement was coming. We were able to start July 1st and turn the page. I truly try to live out what's next. I don't look in the rearview mirror. I'm grateful for the Mountain West. I'm grateful for the Pac-12. It was never personal, and I'm excited for what's ahead of us in the Pac-12. But I'm glad you brought it up, and I said it on Bronco Studios yesterday. At the end of the day, if you look, and I've done other media, and obviously everyone's watched the state board meeting. You look at our deficit and you look at our rev share, it's pretty much dollar for dollar, and BJ, the reality is, since the day I got here, unfortunately we had reserves, but we also had a lot of challenges. And, from deferred maintenance to things that we needed to do, like lights at facilities and new fields and new indoor turfs and a new blue turf and, things that had just sat for way too long that we inherited. Fine, it's not an indictment on anyone, but we knew this day was coming. And that's what makes me so confident and proud in many ways that we've actually created alignment. I have a president that is locked in and understands the value of what it is. I have a state board that has been awesome, man. I have a relationship with these people now, and I get to have these conversations with them and make sure that they're included. That what we did with the state, this past session, for the first time, BJ, I was allowed to talk to politicians. I was allowed to talk to the state board. That's progress. Now, it may be inches, but those inches add up. And the fact that the governor has created an athletics working group and is working through this with us, that makes me really proud. I'm not going to overpromise, underdeliver, but we've made progress, and that's been my goal since the day I got here. And disappointing it wasn't 3, 4, 5 years ago when we were able to actually get in front of the right people, tell our story appropriately, and make sure people understood the reality of the situation, knowing what was coming, because we knew what was coming. And that's what fires me up about this. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to look in the rearview mirror. I can't cry over spilled milk. We're going to find new cows, BJ. We're going to find solutions, and we're going to throw everything at this wall. At minimum, I can stand up in Bronco Nation and say, you got 100% of me, and I'm not going to stop fighting.
You mentioned the 18 million was the rev share deficit. I believe you said with Jay, it's over 13 million in terms of the rev share budget. I know there's some numbers out there with that. What was it the first year? I mean, how is that number to continue in terms of the rev share? And I think you're talking department wide. But how is that? I don't remember off top of the hand what the first year was, but I know you guys have been pushing that envelope every single year, and that number is not going to get any smaller.
No, and it's not, it's called rev share, BJ. We should call it something else because I don't have revenue to share, and we're having to invest into deferred maintenance projects and facilities and trying, you got to spend money and make money. I mean, everything that I've said, BJ, for 5.5 years, if you go back and put the puzzle together, you would I've tried to leave breadcrumbs to lead people to the right conclusion and the reality of the situation and being respectful, of those I report to and others involved. And that's what gives me so much hope is that there's finally alignment, whether we get to a solution or not. Like, I'm really proud of the work we've been able to do, what we did in the past and what we were allowed to do. And there's the authentic NIL piece and the rev share. If you remember, we had the collective partnership, that we still have. They do a lot of camps and other things for the kids, but there isn't this, they're not giving us money or whatever. At the end of the day, we have grown significantly and we've tried to keep pace. We don't need what everyone else has, but we got to stay close, BJ. I'm not trying to get us to, immediately. I'm always thinking about it, but I know what Ohio State and LSU and Texas, and good for them. But I also know they have challenges. I also know that they, we all have the same problems. It's just different zeros. We are trying to maximize the house settlement. That is the goal. And we have grown significantly, but we are not where some of our counterparts are. Those we're held accountable to competing are. And it's good on them, but this is the first step is identifying where the problem is, and then it's working through the solutions, and then it's making sure you have the right people in the foxhole. And I've said it before, Bronco Nation has stepped up, and I can tell you this, BJ, this moment would have come much sooner if it wasn't for Bronco Nation. All those sponsors you mentioned, I'm one person, and I know I get a lot of credit and whatever, and I get a blame. It doesn't matter to me. It takes a team, and I can't do this alone. And Bronco Nation has stepped up, going from 30 to 345. I think we're at in Lyle Smith, the season tickets, selling out games, how we're monetizing, the method to the madness on reseeding, extra mile. All of this is intentional. I understand not everyone is going to like the decisions, but no, it's not for personal gain. It's not fame and fortune. It is doing what's right for this brand, because I know, BJ, more so now than I ever did, I know that we represent something bigger than ourselves. It isn't just this institution. It's not just this community. It's this state. And we are a national, if not international brand. And it's my duty and responsibility to take what Gene and many others built and elevate it. And that's the goal every day. And that's where they're going to get 1% better of me every day and my team. And I'm so grateful.
Well, final question for you. You mentioned season tickets. You guys sent out the announcement the other day that you're up over 20,000 now. 20,159 was the last update, I believe, yesterday or the day before. You've been pretty public. 23,000 is the goal. Just with the new turf, the new ribbon boards, the new lights. I mean, obviously the north end zone is a big deal as well, but just 16 days from the Oregon game, but that means 23 days from the home opener against Memphis. Just how you feeling about ticket sales and interest and everything heading into the season here?
Really proud, BJ. I mean, we track all this, in terms of where we were at certain points of the year, and going back 5.5 years, there wasn't a lot of information or data that was tracked prior to me getting here. Data helps us make the decisions that we need to make. And so we have, goals, and we're very public about those goals. Volleyball just hit their season ticket goal. Like, we want to be bar raisers. We have 18 sports and it all matters, but football is essentially our cash cow. Like, it is an extremely important space for us. It's why 6 games, 6 sellouts is so important to us. And now that the deficit's out there, I hope Bronco Nation understands this is important, and we got to sell out every game. We have to sell out every game. And in a very positive way, we've done that. And I'm so grateful for how they've stepped up, and we're over 20,000. The goal is to get to 23, but we're fast approaching that space, BJ, and for Bronco Nation. I don't want 30,000 season tickets. You have student sections, you have staff tickets, you have, sponsor tickets, you have a single game and group, because group tickets create pipelines for, single game. And then that leads into season tickets. This all leads, and the more consecutive years we can do this, it ties into the method of the madness of what's next in terms of the East Side Stadium projects and the overbuilds and everything else. So we need to keep pushing. I believe Bronco Nation and in our team that we're going to get to the 23,000. And I'm really excited for that. When I first got here, getting to 20 was a heavy lift. And yeah, we're 23 days out and we're already over 20. And we're going to I believe we're going to get that goal. And I'm grateful and appreciate Bronco Nation for stepping up and hearing me and understanding, my words hopefully have a little more power now that people understand the situation. A lot of the change, and I get a lot of comments on social, BJ, on one hand, it's like last year was a failure. And mind you, we won 3 championships in a row. And so I always laugh at those, but last year's a failure, but then no one wants change. You can't have it both ways. At the end of the day, everything counts, everything matters, and we need to continue to elevate it. And we're going to continue to throw everything at the wall, and we're going to make sure we put our best foot forward. And that includes the experience of the ribbon boards and the north end zone and the video boards and the new blue and the helmets and everything we are doing. We will not stop. It's always what's next.
Well, I mean, you got the Luke Combs concert that was announced too. That's a big deal for next summer. I know you guys have some other stuff in the works as well. So, I mean, that's just another piece of this is continuing to add other events and things. I know that's one that everyone's going to be excited for next summer is Luke Combs, but excited for heading to Eugene in 2 weeks, excited for the Memphis home opener. Everyone's loving you on the chat here. Glad to have JD leading the charge. Keep leaning forward, JD, and JD we trust. Lots of, I can't get to all of them. There's dozens of comments praising you. So appreciate you for jumping on for your monthly visit here, Jeremiah. Hope to get you on the pregame show, maybe in Autzen there on the field. And appreciate you as always, and keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you soon.
Would love that, BJ, and thank you for the opportunity. And Bronco Nation, I love you. We're not going to stop. Go Broncos.
There he is, Jeramiah Dickey. Appreciate him as always for jumping on, giving us 30 minutes of his time. He was on with Jay yesterday, and I say it every time, folks, but there's not a lot of athletic directors that are willing to come on for half an hour on a show on YouTube and take questions directly from the chat and face criticism. And wasn't a lot of that today. There's a lot of positivity, but there was a lot of news and notes and nuggets within that 30-minute interview there. So I hope you enjoyed that and really appreciate Jeremiah for his time for giving it to us there. So the Sun Cruiser Studios, our studio sponsor. Make sure you pick up a Sun Cruiser at your local gas station or grocery store. And of course, our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise. There would be no Bronco Nation News without Lithia Ford of Boise and all of our great sponsors, folks. So get on out for that new or pre-owned vehicle, Lithia Ford of Boise, and check them out. Some great deals coming up. Next week, we're going to tell you more about all of our great sponsors, folks. Tell you throughout the show. But the easiest, this is a free show you're watching on YouTube. The easiest way is to support the sponsors, and we would really appreciate it if you could do that. Another way to help us out would be to subscribe. 60% off right now, BroncoNationNews.com. You can get full recruiting coverage, full inside access, practice reports, intel, VIP intel on the message boards. You can read Nathan, get all the recruiting coverage from Chris, myself, home and road coverage. Bronco Nation News, folks, the only outlet that travels at home and on the road with both the football and basketball teams. You're not getting anything in terms of non-affiliated coverage on the road for basketball other than Bronco Nation News. And we are one of the few outlets that still travels to every football game as well. So if you want literally coverage you're not going to get anywhere else, home, road, online, you want to help keep these pregame, postgame shows going on YouTube, the easiest way is for $4.67 a month. Jump in right now for our 60% off sale, and it's all kinds of Boise State coverage. If you're a Boise State fan, you want to read up on the team, be ready for the season, you can do that at BroncoNationNews.com. We're part of the 24/7 sports family, and you get all your coverage and access there. You get access to all the databases and national recruiting coverage and things like that. So jump on now before that deal's gone. It's not going to be here much longer, and it's the easiest way for a one-time fee of like $50 or whatever it is. You get a full year of coverage, and then when it renews at the full price next year, you also get the Paramount Plus subscription included as well. And if you'd like to pay full price now and start with the Paramount Plus subscription as well, you can do that as well. So appreciate you guys. For those of you that already have subscribed, and we would love it if some more of you would jump in right now and take advantage of that great deal, 60% off. Hey, we are heading to Vegas next week. A week from right now, we'll be doing our show down at the contest weekend, the largest sign-up weekend. $30 million in guaranteed prizes from our friends at Circa. If you're looking to get into the Circa contest, hope you'll join us. Make a last-minute trip to Vegas next week And if you can't join us, reach out to me. We can help sign you up. $20 million guaranteed to the winner of the Survivor contest, $6 million to the Millions contest. So if you want to get some friends together and jump on in and enter the Circa football contest, we'd love to have you. It's 100% legal signing up with our man Tom Carroll, Vegas Football Proxy. You sign up in Vegas, and then you can play from anywhere in the world. You submit your picks to Tom. Him and his staff go into the casino and make the picks, and it's 100% legal. It's how 90% of the contest entries are done, using a proxy for folks that live outside of Las Vegas. So if you're an NFL fan, if you're a gambler, if you're just wanting to kind of have a reason to watch some NFL Sunday this year, $1,000 entry fee. And again, you can do that yourself. You can split it with 1 friend, 2 friends, 3 friends, get 10 friends if you want. $1,000 entry fee. You can go up to 10 times in their Survivor. I think 5 entries in the Millions, and it's a cool way to enjoy the NFL season this fall. And we're heading down next week to do the contest sign up and all the events and things there at Circa. They're one of our great sponsors here at Bronco Nation News. So if you're ever heading to Las Vegas, make sure you stay with our friends at Circa. So appreciate you guys. Go support the sponsors. Go subscribe. Go read our coverage at BroncoNationNews.com. Give us a like, a subscription on the way out here on YouTube. Help us get to 8,000 YouTube subscribers. We're getting close. I think about 150 away. So help us out on YouTube. Go subscribe at BroncoNationNews.com. Check out the message boards, all the stories there. Go support the sponsors. Practice today, FYI, is not till 4 o'clock. So you're not going to get any coverage right now, at least from practice for the rest of the day. But I'll be out there this afternoon. The BNN crew will be out there. We're going to have practice highlights, clips. 4 to 6, I believe, is practice. And then we will talk to Eric Chenander and Nate Potter, the offensive and defensive coordinators, after practice today. So full interviews with the defensive coordinator, Eric Chenander, the offensive coordinator, Nate Potter, coming to the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. Another reason to make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Full, unedited, raw, 10, 15-minute, interviews with all these players and coaches. We put them right to the YouTube page. Subscribe on YouTube and come back, I'd say about 7:30 tonight. Eric Chenander and Nate Potter, full interviews from the coordinators as we hit scrimmage 2 on Saturday. So appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Go subscribe. Go support the sponsors. And we'll see you from practice later today. And then we'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Bronco Nation News Live. BroncoNationNews.com. Take care, everybody.